I hope so, yeah. Thank you, everyone. Let me just take a moment to get set up here. How many of you actually know ZipZap, or what we do, how long we've been around? A few of you? Okay, great, great. So I'll kind of give you a little background on kind of what we're up to and walk you through a few things. Really excited to be here. I just got in from London yesterday, so a little jet lagged, but I'm sure we'll be fine. I'm not going to get as technical as Chris. I'm going to really speak on a mainstream adoption level. So I'm going to give you an idea of where Bitcoin is going and how we can really help with the mass adoption to improve things. So like you heard, we do have a big announcement. I'll get to that, and I'll let you know kind of what we're up to in the UK, in Europe, and everywhere else in the world as opposed to the US. And I can also let you know what's going on in the US as well. Basically, I'm in charge of all global business development for ZipZap. We set up our UK office about, I'd say, 6-7 months ago. And since we left the US to kind of look for other partnerships, we've really grown a lot in terms of the exchanges that we're now linked up with and the amount of locations that are actually just starting to come online. So we actually, from Monday, 28,000 locations in the UK are online, so that's really, really great. Just wanted to say that we're a global cash payment network. We handle the cash. We've been involved in the space for a very long time, and we consider ourselves a very, very important tool and a very important company for the Bitcoin ecosystem as a whole. We provide cash-in on-ramps for Bitcoin. So being able to use physical cash to buy Bitcoin. It's a very simple process, and I'll show you through in a sec how we do that. But being able to give exchanges an ability to get cash in, and that's what we've really been focusing on, because right now it's so difficult for people to actually get cash into the exchanges, to balance out the ecosystem. Any currency, as we all know, needs to have both cash in and cash out solutions to really make it worthwhile using. So that's part of what we're really, really all about. So the more locations, the more access to the mainstream customers, the better. So why is it such a problem to actually get cash in? Well, most people don't want to be sending wires to random places or Slovenia or Bulgaria or whatever. Cash is still king. Obviously, 1 billion people in this world have access to financial systems, they have accounts, they do their normal thing. But there is actually another portion of the people, another 6.5 billion people out there that have absolutely no access to anything. And that's why we really, really are trying to get set up in these emerging markets to provide an ability for them to deposit cash for Bitcoin. So 2.5 billion cash-based customers worldwide, no access to anything. Financial services, e-commerce, it's a very, very terrible thing. And with Bitcoin, they're able to set up instantaneously. They're able to send money wherever they need to go, and it's literally free of charge. So let me start off by saying, as a company, we're not really investing in Bitcoin, the currency. We're more investing in Bitcoin, the platform, because that's the real sustainable value of Bitcoin. We believe in the power of Bitcoin, and we believe in the force for the good in humanity. We believe Bitcoin can change the world, basically, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. And the best way to support the platform is to support the currency, but in order for a currency to survive and thrive, you have to have cash in and cash out locations. So that's what we're focusing on at ZipZap, and I really appreciate everybody coming today and showing your support, showing your interest. The more that we kind of do these conferences and the more companies that come into the space, the better it is for everyone. So thank you very much. And basically, I'm just going to get this little remote here. So, I've just kind of given you a bit of a background at who we are. It's real simple, guys. Like I said, I'm not a technical person. I'm in business development. I do partnerships, and we try and get as many places as we can, as fast as we can, to provide the people the services and the products that they need most. And that's what's most important. Convenient, local, secure. So again, you probably are asking yourself, so how do you use cash online? Well, here it is. So merchants integrate with ZipZap products. Consumer buys goods online with cash. Consumers purchase goods online and choose to pay with cash. And they get a little payment slip, a little barcode that comes to their phone, smartphone. Also, we're having the app that's going to be coming out as well. And they're able to then go into the most convenient location of their choice to then pay cash for Bitcoin. And the Bitcoins are delivered. It's either via their exchange or another format, but the Bitcoins are delivered in less than a minute. So there's no waiting, there's no stress, there's no hassle. There's no waiting online for orders to clear or sending funds. You literally, you want to spend 10 bucks? You want to go today, I have an extra $10 I want to spend. I'm going to get it, instead of getting a lottery card, I'm going to go get Bitcoin. Well, that's what we do. So one of our products, Cash Tab, and what Cash Tab is, it's a reloadable number that's given to a consumer. So that consumer is able to then basically buy Bitcoins whenever they want with that barcode. They could literally just top it up. So they're topping up their consumer account. And then Cash Coin, I'm going to get into in a little bit. Maybe some of you have heard about this product. But basically, in a nutshell, it allows consumers to instantly buy and sell digital currencies using physical cash from trusted exchange partners. And so they come through the portal of Cash Coin, and they're able to literally generate an order on the fly and have their Bitcoins delivered upon deposit. So it takes the exchange experience completely away from the consumer. We're about strict mainstream adoption. In order for mainstream adoption to happen, we have to take the concerns and the confusion away for the mainstream consumer. So, and that's what Cash Coin does. Again, I spoke briefly on liquidity, but just to let you know, liquidity, liquidity, liquidity. You cannot have Bitcoin without cash in, period. It goes for any currency, obviously, but cash in, and then also we're building our cash out solutions as well. So if you want to cash out a little bit of Bitcoin and get some fiat wherever you're traveling, that's the idea. We'll be piloting our cash out solutions in the UK as well in the next month or two. We're just working on that now. Again, investment money. Like I said, ZipZap considers themselves to be a very important player in the Bitcoin ecosystem. So we've been involved in the space. A lot of you might remember BitInstant when they were here. Don't know if Charlie's here today, but we really worked with BitInstant very closely in the very beginning. And this is about a year and a half ago when Bitcoin was around $1, $2, and we were providing our MoneyGram locations here for bill pay of Bitcoin. So people could literally go into a MoneyGram location, do up an order with BitInstant, and pay in cash. So, Cashcoin. It's 3 easy steps. You create a cash tab. It's all real-time KYC. You enter your receive address, your public key, and you drop off your cash. And it's delivered to your wallet. It's very, very simple. And Cashcoin is going to go live in the UK Wednesday of next week. We're very excited for our partnerships with this product, and also very excited for the adoption because we really know that users are going to use this without having to worry about an exchange experience, without having to worry about holding of funds. They can literally take their cash and get their Bitcoin. So Cashcoin, ZipZap markets online to consumers. So we are software. We are not an exchange. We do not hold user funds. We are just here to provide a service. And what we do with our partnered exchanges is we vet them. We make our consumers feel comfortable. We make our consumers really, really trust the experience, because at the end of the day, the consumers care about 3 things. That's user experience, how fast it's going to get delivered, and price. So we figure if you can do 2 out of those 3 things and do it well, you have a recipe for success. So again, ZipZap markets online to consumers. We perform the KYC real time, and the consumer has the order fulfilled by our exchange partners real time. So again, taking that exchange experience away from a mainstream consumer, we're just trying to increase mass adoption. Now the benefits for the consumers, we work with fully vetted exchanges, payment in cash at local retail locations, enable consumers to buy Bitcoin, Litecoin, and other digital currencies. So this product is going to evolve, and we'll be offering many different currencies over time, probably XRP, Litecoin, and a few others to come as well. Again, one-time KYC for first order. So when you make a cash tab account, that reloadable number, that's your KYC cash tab. So you can then take that cash tab, and if we're partnered with any other exchange who also offer a cash option, you can take that cash tab and you're already KYC'd, which is great. Instant delivery upon payment, which I've already touched upon. Complete privacy, not anonymity. We're not about being anonymous, we're about being private. That's what we're trying to get at. No bank account needed. Buy any amount between $10 and $500. And then the max per day transaction is usually around $2,000. Touched upon this. Again, all sales and marketing are performed by us. The customer service is dealt with accordingly by us. The payment process is handled immediately because it's cash. So in our API, we trigger that we've received good funds. So all those good funds are triggered across the stage. Merchants. Can't do what we do without merchants. And thank you to BitPay and Bips and Coinbase and all the merchant processing companies out there, because these are the guys that are really making mainstream adoption happen. And I really want to take my hats off to them because I really, really love what they're doing. Again, we work with some of these companies as well, and there'll be a lot more growth in this space, and I'm very excited for that, and I'm sure a lot of you are as well. So, benefits for the merchants. Well, the merchants, no merchant account approval is needed unless you work with a Bitcoin processor. Funds are instantly deposited in your digital currency account unless you settle in fiat. No FX conversion, Bitcoin's low-cost processing, no chargebacks. Network provides low-cost integration. So from a merchant point of view, being a merchant myself, recipe for success. And again, for the consumer, well, why? Why should I adopt Bitcoin? Well, digital currencies are always with you. No inflation will affect the value of your Bitcoins. Getting a bank account is now done in seconds. Truly universal, the first universal currency we've seen. No bank, PayPal, or government can arbitrarily freeze your funds. You never have to worry about your credit card number being stolen. And Bitcoin payments are as private as you want them to be. So, financial institutions, big problem. We have a huge problem with financial institutions. They're broken, we all know that, and regulation is a necessary friction, right? But the important thing that we need to understand, regulation is going to happen, and we're trying to figure that out right now, but we need smart regulation that does not stifle innovation, period. Because the regulation environment, especially here, is pretty much stifling a lot of the innovation that's going overseas. In Europe, in the United Kingdom especially, Singapore, the amount of innovation and energy and growth that is happening right now, it's fascinating. And here is obviously a lot more difficult, but it's tough. Again, compliance is a competitive advantage. Staying out of jail is also a competitive advantage. So you want to make sure that you know your customer, AML policies, everything is above board. We're not trying to pull a fast one over anybody. We just want to do business. And if you do compliance the right way, you'll always reduce fraud. This is just to give you some kind of indication, like a little graph. It helps me understand kind of where things can go if you just look at the markets. But for example, with MoneyGram and Western Union, that's a total value of $540 billion last year. Now, if Bitcoin were to replace Western Union completely, and you factored in that there's only 21 million Bitcoins, that's going to give you a price of $19,523 per Bitcoin if it took over that industry of remittance. Visa, MasterCard, American Express with e-commerce. E-commerce was $1 trillion last year. Now, if Bitcoin took e-commerce down and took all these networks down and just replaced it completely, that's $47,619 per Bitcoin. Isn't that amazing? Now, gold, $6.8 trillion market. Now, if Bitcoin were to take that, that's $323,809 per Bitcoin. So, obviously, lots to look forward to. Knowing how much people's lives and economies can be improved gives us the necessary drive to provide products and services that everyday customers want, right? Bitcoin is the innovation that can help make these social changes possible. The decentralized currency has no inflation and inherent corruption. It is truly universal for all people, not just techies, investors, libertarians. It's for everyone. And that's what I love about it most. And you know, as Alan calls it, our CEO, who unfortunately can't be here today, but the currency of the people, for the people, by the people. And the current financial systems, obviously, you know, are not making this possible, which obviously, if they did want to make this possible, they would adopt Bitcoin, which would immediately improve social benefits. Bitcoin brings major innovation and efficiency to the way people transmit and store value, and therefore potentially brings social benefits through economic growth, which is fascinating. It can be done, and it will be done. We are leveraging technology for the good. Investors understand that we are building value and creating customers worldwide. And we can make money servicing these customers with other things. We can provide a free service for remittance and charge for other value-added services to make up the revenues. So our goal is obviously moving forward long term is to make remittance free, to make transmitting money free, to really make money that open project. I want the press and the politicians and the regulators to think about how investing in these infrastructures would actually benefit humanity and benefit us in the West. When they didn't tax the economy for e-commerce, it helped them grow and prosper. They should do the same thing. Let's not create regulations to make it tough on Bitcoin. Let's really invest in Bitcoin. And I think governments and banks should invest in Bitcoin to help spread it out, to help the 7 billion come out of poverty and become customers in the future. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You know, you guys are clapping for $20,000 Bitcoins, you know. So we're going to take some questions here for Eric. But I'm going to go first. Did you say 700,000 locations I can walk into with cash in my pocket?
That's worldwide.
Okay.
So again, we have a couple 100,000 locations in Russia, and that'll actually come online with Cashcoin. Cashcoin is not rolled out. We're just doing a pilot test in the UK with 28,000 locations now. But the product will actually roll out in Russia, Brazil, here in the US as well, and a lot of other places within Europe, a lot of smaller countries, Lithuania, Baltics, and a couple other areas, hopefully South Africa as well.
So tens of thousands of locations in the United States where one can just walk in with money,
yes,
buy Bitcoins, and
yes,
that's the only thing they did?
That's the only thing they do.
Okay.
That's it. So again, on their mobile app or via our website, they can generate an order and again, take that little barcode, go into a local convenience store, and deposit cash for Bitcoin.
You heard
Pretty
it here.
easy.
This is one of the most important announcements of the event. I'm not kidding.
Does anybody have any questions at all? We have a dead mic.
Adela?
You want to take this one? Okay. How many of you used ZipZap in the past, actually, here in the States? I just want to see show of hands. Okay.
Yes.
Great. How many actually bought your first Bitcoin with ZipZap? Wonderful. Wonderful. That's great.
So you guys have 700,000 locations that aren't online yet, correct?
We have 700,000 locations that are servicing merchants that we currently have, but as far as our Cashcoin product is concerned, it's currently going to be live starting from next week in the UK.
Okay, and is your company publicly traded or no?
No, we're not.
Okay, good to know.
How do we invest?
Contact me after.
There we go. Everybody, Adela?
You referenced exchange partners several times. Could you give some more details around that? Are you talking about traditional exchanges, or are you talking about sort of mini exchanges each of these locations act as?
Yeah, thank you. That's a good question, actually, because there are different types of exchanges around there. You guys are probably most familiar with Bitstamp, which is that main kind of exchange that holds funds, and they have books and order books and every kind of thing, and then you wire them money. So we partner with all different types of exchanges. They can be market-making exchanges. You have a lot of different market makers in Europe, all around. There's about 4 in Sweden alone. You have a few in Lithuania popping up. There's so many other exchanges that are coming online or that are already online that a lot of people actually don't really know about. So it's great. I mean, here in the States, we're looking forward to working with some of the other exchanges that aren't online yet. So when they do come online, we'll be ready to go. But again, to go more into detail with the exchange partners that we have, for example, in Europe, there's a couple exchanges. There's Bitstamp, obviously, through our Ripple integration that we're partnered with. Then you have BIPS, you have Bitcoin Nordic, and then Bitcoin Nordic is doing Bitcoin Singapore and Middle East, and these exchanges are just taking their platforms and going into the different areas right now. So you'll be able to see a lot more on our website. Our website launched as well as next week, so you'll be able to see a lot more.
So then, how do you manage such fractured liquidity, and then how do you manage counterparty risk if you're guaranteeing almost instantaneous transactions?
Right.
They're obviously off-chain transactions.
Right.
So therefore, all these brokers, really, because these aren't exchanges, these are brokers who
Yep.
are managing principal positions.
Some
How do you manage
exchanges
that,
and
and what
some
happens if you have a failure in counterparty risk? That could be systemic.
These exchanges are actually taking the risk themselves. They are the ones giving their consumers a cash option. So they'll integrate that cash tab in order to get quick cash in to the exchange. Now, if these are market-making exchanges that are actually reselling, so they actually have a much bigger risk there, they're actually only doing it so when you actually make a payment, your cash payment is, maybe the order is open by that exchange for about 15 minutes, 30 minutes, depending on whatever they're most comfortable with, depending on how liquid they are in order to provide that service. But you're right, there's a few different formats there. The exchange partners that we work with for Cashcoin are literally delivering instantaneous orders via a very complicated system that we've created in order to kind of pull the liquidity and make sure that all orders are delivered within less than a minute.
So you're connected via an API and you're using some kind of algorithm to be able to drive that?
Absolutely.
So what you're taking is brand risk. So if the counterparty fails, ZipZap has major brand risk, but you don't have principal position risk.
Right, so and then we would deal with that risk, and then we'll deal with the customer issues that come up from that. And we've dealt with that in the past, obviously. So
Do you have any regulated counterparties you deal with that are actually under some type of governmental regulation?
Yeah, so again, having a payment network, we have to partner and we have to work with money transmitters and all different types of institutions in order to make this possible. And with my background and especially Alan's background and a lot of the other members of the team, we've been able to do that successfully. And it's been great. Very stressful, but it's good. We should talk more after the conference.
That's all I'm going to take is. I got one more question.
In the back.
Gentleman with the beard, Della. Can you see him standing there? Looks like you're the only one.
Yeah, I was wondering what the plans are for a territory set that looked empty on the graph that you represented, because it seems that a big chunk of the 5 billion people with requirements for those services, as well as significant cash economies below the are missing from that graph presentation. I saw India not represented, Australia, Indonesia, Bangladesh, China. I would say that a very significant part of who you're trying to serve is there. What's the plan for that?
Absolutely, yeah. India, we actually already have an office in New Delhi. We have locations pretty much ready to go, probably from end of H1. India is very important for us, especially because that covers our Southeast Asia, as you said. So that's a very important area that we're focusing on, especially with our exchange partners that are launching there as well. Africa is a very main focus for me. I've actually been working a lot in Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, like I mentioned. I've really taken a lot of time these past couple months to focus on getting the necessary licenses and contracts and everything up in Africa in order for us to operate. So we're very excited for that, probably H2 Obviously, things take a little longer when you're dealing in these types of economies. Again, Asia as well. We're already working with an exchange in Hong Kong, which is fantastic. And so we're actually heading there very soon to look at some partners as well. So again, I understand. I've been in cash-centric communities for a long time in Russia and everything else. So it's very crucial for us to get into these more emerging markets. So thanks for the question. If there's no more questions, thank you very much. I appreciate it.